and welcome back to Wire Nation. Glad you could be here today because this one's a big one. This is the one everybody's been waiting for. This is the Big Brake Kit. Now, this kit was put together by Fat Tire House down in Los Angeles, and the man responsible for it is Ibrahim, and let's give him a round of applause. It's a great kit. It's a great kit. So we're going to go over that in depth today and kind of show you what it takes to do. Spoiler alert, it ain't easy. Okay. There's a lot to it, but I just wanted people to know it can be done. I just don't want to be the person that walks you through it every time with every call and every question. Okay. So I'm going to kind of point this out to you. I'm going to let that over to the professional that designed this kit down at Fat Tire House. It's their kit. I'm making absolutely $0 on this kit. So I can give you my own free opinion, and this will be at my free will to just go how I want to go. But it is positive, so stay tuned. You're probably going to want this kit for your bike if you're willing to put in the work yourself, or if you have a mechanic that can do this for you. So let's get into it. First of all, why do we need a big brake kit? That's a great question. In Class 2, Class 3, regular mode, what I like to call it, 1, 2, 3. This bike is adequate with the brakes that it comes with. No problem. That's fine. But when you go into unlimited mode, which I refer to as upgrade mode, because once you go in that mode, all bets are off. All bets are off on legalities, where you're riding, what you should be doing, and how you should protect yourself, and what upgrades you might need for your style of riding. That's on, once you go to unlimited, it's on you. So if you want to take this to unlimited because you ride like I do, Bureau of Land Management land, and the bike's okay to ride there, that's fine. You ride it a lot on private property, which I have. I can do that. That's fine. You know, so that's what I would stress. This isn't like for the street, but I'm not telling you what to do. You do you, I'll do me, I'll show you how the kit is. So first of all, when you get this thing up to speed, and 40 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, you're pretty much okay doing regular stuff on this bike with the regular brakes. But it's when you take it a little bit more. When you push it faster. Let's say you went to 50. Let's say you're light enough weight to get to even 60, or you're going downhill or something. You're going to need a bigger brake. And, cause it's going to first and short, even if it's for a small point, you're still going to need it for stopping distance. So if you're going a little faster and you need your brake to stop better, these will stop better at any speed over the stock ones. So let's just kind of get into it. We kind of answered a little bit of the why. So if you're going to go unlimited and whatever, or if you're going to go like I do, I go up a mountain, and I go up a mountain that's very steep. Steepest grade in California, over 1.5 miles and arguably 1 mile. That Socrates grade and the grade I go up are the two steepest in California grade wise, regular roads over 1 mile, but definitely the one I go on is steeper, over 1.5 miles. And it's a 4 mile uphill, and you gain like 2,500 feet. So it's up there. When you come down, it's 4 miles of switchbacks all the way down. So you're going to be using a lot of brake, and you'll find out real fast that the stock brakes might get you down one time, might get you down 2 times, but you're going to be braking. You're going to be taking a real brake why things cool off on the way down and things like that. Your comfort may vary. Okay. So you're going to want a bigger brake for that too. So that's my reasoning for doing it, is really because I go up the hill. It's great. This bike just chugs right up the hill. No problem. It's not that it's not like this thing can't handle 30 to 40% grade. This thing can go up it. That's not a problem. We've proven that. The thing is, when you have to come down those 20 and 30% grades for miles and miles on end, then that's where some stuff starts to show up. Just like when you bomb through the whoops and stuff like that on some dirt roads and stuff, you start feeling the limitations of the suspension. And if you're trying to absorb it all back here in your rear end, this bike's not going to feel too good. So you're going to have to get your butt off the pedals. You're going to have to get forward, and you're going to have to use your legs. Otherwise, you're going to feel like maybe these forks aren't good enough. And if you do go higher speeds and stuff like that, you might want to swap these out. The only problem is, at what affordable price? Because I haven't been able to find one. I've been able to find them, but they start at $1,500 and they go to $5,000. That's up to you if you want to spend that kind of coin. If your pockets are that deep, go for it. I mean, hey, turn it out. Make it something special. And also, your rear shock back here is a little bit less expensive to do. So let's kind of go over it and show what comes with the kit. First of all, what you'll notice when you get with the kit, at least when I got with my kit, I got 4 rotors. 2 of a thinner rotor, which is, I'm just going to have to guess. They're probably 3 or just less than 3, okay, millimeters thick. But the one I chose to go with is the 3 mil or a little bit more, like 3.1, maybe up to even 3.2 millimeters thick. It's a very thick rotor. The reason I chose that, the thicker you go, the better the heat distribution and less heat soak you get. And that's very important, heat soak. You want to be able to do that. The calipers are huge. They're fat. They got a lot of pad, and it takes a lot to overheat those. So your calipers, there's no weak spot on that caliper. And then with those big rotors on there, I'm hoping there won't be. We've been inundated with fog here. Like you've probably heard about California, the Central Valley fog. It's been since Thanksgiving, it was bad. And now we got out of that. Now we get 2 weeks of rain back to back to back to back to back. So a little hard to go test in fog and hard to test in the rain. So, but I can show you how to do this if you want to do this. So mine's on. It works so far as bedding in the brakes. I haven't got out there and really got to jam down those hills yet. So I don't think there will be a problem, but just to let you know where you're at. I wanted to bring you guys on this journey from day one. So this is where we're at in this. So we'll kind of go over what's going on here. So in the kit, you'll get 4. You'll pick whichever rotor you want. It's not going to matter. The thickness of your rotor is really not going to matter in your spacing. It's really not going to matter in everything else, because the spacing really comes down to more where the caliper is located more than where the disc is located. Because there's only so much you can push in towards the hub with the caliper before it hits the actual hub, because we got a big hub motor in the back. Most of the difficulty in this install, 99% of it is all going to be the rear, not the front. The front is straightforward. Anybody can do that one. It's going to be just a walk in the park. We'll go over that. But it's going to be in the rear. The rear has a lot of tolerance issues. And later in the video, I'm going to take you down there off the tripod. We're going to go down there. We're going to look at it together, and I'm going to go over it, use my pointer, and we're going to go over everything. So got the 4 rotors. We got the 2 reservoir up top here on the brake lever, your handles up here. And we'll see those. And then you have your red calipers here and here. I believe they're also available in black. So if you want black, that's an option too. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to be replacing these rotors here, these calipers. These lines are way thicker than stock lines too. So you got a thicker stock line. You got dot fluid in here. So you have to be a little bit more careful with dot fluid, because dot fluid is a little bit corrosive. Mineral oil is just mineral oil, but you're moving to a dot. So if it drips on anything, you're going to want to clean it up, which I didn't even have one drip on this whole thing the way it's set up. It's really cool how it comes, because the lines are pre-filled and they go together. When you get to the top, you just take your reservoir here and you kind of tip it sideways, and you get your end of your line, and you just kind of meet them up and you screw it down. And then you just go ahead and put it up. No mess, no nothing. It's cake. That was easy. So as far as mess wise go, no. And as far as my mess wise going back, I just had a small amount of mineral oil. I just kind of drained it off into a little, like water bottle. And that was fine. So, you'll get your rotor here. You'll get your 6 machine screws here that hold it into the actual hub itself. And that's good there. Then your mount up over here, we'll get up closer too. I'm just going to go over this real fast and then we'll get down here. You'll use your stock spacer. The stock spacer actually works from here. So you can just use your stock spacer because the one that comes with it don't fit. So the stock spacer works real good. And then you'll have to get some longer screws. So we can, they'll be able to tell you where to get longer screws and stuff. I mean, they have them down there at Fat Tire House as far as the pack. He'll be able to tell you how to get those off Amazon. If I need to get involved that time, I'll throw an Amazon link somewhere and you guys get them. I mean, you get a whole bunch of different sizes for like $10. So that's real easy. So you just get longer ones here because you want to use longer ones because when you get into the boss here that holds it on, you want to get in there and bite as much of as you can. So you want to get in there tight. And it's the same for the back. The back, you can use the stock spacer or you can use the aftermarket on this one. I just went ahead and used the aftermarket here because I wanted to see how good the kit would fit down here. So I went ahead and just used theirs on this one. I could have used the stock one too, but I was trying to use as much as the kit as I could. So, and then back here, then we have some spacing issues that we'll go over in a minute that's special to this bike because the tolerances are so close. So that's about all we can talk about until we bring you down here. So let me bring you guys down here and then we'll start in the front and then we'll work our way to the back. All right. Now let's get over spacing and everything. So you have the caliper here, you have the rotor, you go ahead and use your old spacer here. Right here, I just have one little spacer here, one washer here, one washer here, thinner washer here, and a longer screw here on either side, and that's all that takes. You'll need to take the wheel off to put the rotor on. The rotor is just very self-explanatory. You'll take each one of the screws off here, maybe over here just a minute. Come to this side real quick. You'll move these screws right here. You'll remove them off the other one, and you'll put the ones that come with this one with the blue Loctite on it. You'll put these on. These don't need to be spaced out or anything, and they just go in there, and you'll have to look up the torque spec. I think it's like 50 inch-pounds, something like that. You'll have to look up what the spec is on that. I'm not exactly sure. I think that was right. And then that's inch-pounds. That's not foot-pounds or anything like that. I believe that's inch-pounds, but double-check that. So I'm not exactly sure that's the right spec, but just off the top of my head, I think that's what it was. And it's like very self-explanatory. It goes together really easy. So the front is really a no-brainer. Now we'll just go up and let's go ahead and look at the levers in the reservoir. So I'm just going to pick you up. We're going to come with me up here. And this is our reservoir here. So as you can see, very low profile. It's got a nice clear window. You can see in there, you can check your levers. And you can see when you're, like if you're moving them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you can see, I don't know if it'll come through on here because they're not perfectly done yet. There's still just a tiny bit of air in there. And there probably will be a little bit more air as I go along. They do a really good job of, I guess what would you call that? Just self-leveling itself. So it's really good. But they tend to bite good, and the more you go, the better they are. And the same thing over here. You have that, and when you get away from the bike, just take a look and see how they are. And you really don't even notice it. If you don't know they've been replaced, you don't know. Because the only thing you see at all is just this little tiny bit that shows the levels. Other than that, it looks completely stock. And then your handles are fine too. So that's a good job on those. I like how very sleek they are. They're not these really big things, but you can tell what's not stock is, look how much fatter your line is. And that fat line is something else. So anyway, that's it. They're pretty easy to get off. All I say is I had a problem with undoing these pinch bolts on the stock ones. I had one that was stripped out from the factory, and that was kind of fun to get out. But that was the only kind of hiccup that I found there. So anyway, after you come off your off your levers and your reservoirs up here, you go down. Well, the front one's easy. It just goes in here. It goes through the rat's nest, around the side, down the side of the bike, and right to the caliper. That will all come as one unit. The other side, you'll have the line here, but that line needs to travel in through this hole here, goes past the electronic plate in here for the battery, where it holds it in, the top part. It goes underneath the metal plate that's in here with the 2 screws. You might have seen it in Brian's turn signal kit. That comes out of there, and that wire has to be guided through there. Now, on a Predator, this is when it comes down to fun time. This is part of the fun thing right here. And I don't mean fun in literal sense. Inside this compartment, if any of you have ever been here to remove your racks or anything like that, you'll notice that to get your XT90s or, you know, messing with your brake connection or anything like that, you get in here, it's full of wires in here. And the wire comes in and it goes on the top one up here. You have one controller here, and then you have another controller on another level here, and then there's an aluminum shelf that one goes to, and then it's screwed from the bottom to hold it into that one. Your bottom controller is screwed in place down here underneath. That's what you see these screws hanging out at the bottom. They're holding the controller in. So all that's got to come out. So everything in here, it's got to come out. There's no room to work. There's no way to fish it around because it goes in, it kind of jogs to the right a little bit, and then it drops through a little window and it drops down here, and then it comes out the other side, the opposite side of this on the other side. And it's got to make it through that door. And then it's got to come under here. It weaves up here, goes through here, up around, and then we finally get to the back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is quite an ordeal. Quite an ordeal. It's going to take you some time on that. So know that ahead of time. That's going to kind of tell you what you got in store when you come back here. Now for the most interesting part, and the part that most people are going to have a problem with. All right. We'll try to get this all on camera here if we can. Hopefully our lighting's good enough. See if we can get sideways enough here. Probably have to move it back a little bit. So we're going to do this. We do that like we do here. We do everything in real time. We try to just bring you exactly what's going on, so there's nothing like, oh, you know, they fooled you with the camera angle or something. No. Okay. So as you can see on this motor right here, you have these lugs. And this is on the big 72, your big brand new hub motor in the back. They got these little lugs right here. And with these lugs, they get in the way of how thick these calipers are. So you get the tiniest of space here. And right now it's sitting probably it's at least 1.5 millimeter. I'd say that, no more than 2. And how we got that to work is by spacing the rotor out 1 millimeter. So the rotor is now pointing out that way 1 millimeter. So it would be nice if there was a plate, a mounting plate that would go in there that was 1 millimeter thick in that same bolt pattern to go all the way around. Right now, until that's developed, I'm using just washers, a 1 millimeter washer to hold it out. That seems to be okay so far. And I'm able to center up on this back piece pretty good here. All right. But after you do that, you're going to notice you run into the frame. The frame's right here. And then that's your next problem. Now you have to move. Now the frame has to move. Okay, so it starts to get a little bit involved at that point. It's like, okay, so now what we do? Now we need to get washers to space out. Now you can go and get your own washers and you can build something. I have a different washer in there, but these are the washers that are going to replace it right here. I believe these, hopefully these have the size on them. These are stainless steel and they don't have the size. So I don't know what the size is, so I'm not really gonna quote it here. I'm gonna guess, okay? So I think it's a 16 by 24 and I know it's a 1/2 mil thick. So, but I'm not sure that's the size, so please do not order these off the internet based on that size. Unless you measure and that I got it right, then I got it right. But you'll have to order these. I put another washer in there that's about probably 2.5 millimeters thick, somewhere right in there. But this will give me a more precise measurement. How many do I have to stack in here to get the spacing that I want? Right now I have the spacing that I want, so, but I want to replace them with these and put the stainless steel ones in there. I want to use the stainless steel just because they'll just wear better there. And Wired uses these all over their axles. If you notice on the other side where the freewheel's at, they have this type of washer over there. So, you know, they work with the bike. Okay. So you get that going. The one thing you want to be careful of when you're doing all this spacing, here's the big thing that might void your warranty. You want to make sure that the linkage here doesn't pull to one side or the other. You want to make sure it stays in the middle. You don't want it to slant over here and have it grinding on the side there. That's no good. And that's what makes this really tough. So you don't want to just do that. So that's why we're talking about 1/2 millimeter spacings, because in Wired's gear, it's hard back here. Everything is so tight. The tolerances are so tight. It's probably why they didn't put something like this on there, because I mean, you actually have to get in there and kind of fabricate your own deal. So that right there told me, oh, hey, I don't want to make a kit for the masses, because, you know, somebody's going to feel very out in the weeds if they're doing all this. I mean, because, you know, frame spacing and rotor spacing and watching out for your linkage and pulling the wire through the controller box and all the way down and then getting everything back and making it fit and everything. It's going to take you hours and hours. Is it worth it in the end? This thing can throw you over the handlebars. So yes, they bite really hard. So is it worth it? To me, it is. To you, I don't know. So I think everybody should maybe pause, think about it, talk to the man that designed the kit. He's the one that has all the answers. I can't tell you what your spacing is going to be, because my spacing and your spacing could be completely different. We could be off by 1 millimeter here or there. So food for thought. Because if I use 1 millimeter off this, and then I use 3 millimeters off of this, you might not. You might have to use 2 millimeters off of here, and you might have to use 2 millimeters over here. I don't know what your setup is, because like I said, these aren't exact tolerances. These are basically, this is a China-built bike at a factory and sent to you. This is not a industrial bike racing Tour de France bike that has exact tolerances for like bearing tolerances. It's not like that. So there's a little bit of give and take, which actually works in your favor. So that's kind of the gist on it. I'm going to go back to the tripod now, and then we'll finish this up. Okay, in conclusion, what did we learn? It's a tough install, but it's an install I think it's worth it. It was worth it for me. Whether it's worth it for you, I'm not you. You might say, that's cake, Tim. I can strip every bolt off the bike, and I got months to figure it out because it's cold outside and I can just take my time, and I got a big stand in my garage that's heated, and I got tons of tools, and if that's you, awesome, dude. I want to be like you, because I do have a stand, but most of this I just did on the ground because I know most people are going to do it that way. So I didn't cheat and take a stand and do it the easy way, or, great, because some of this was done here, some of it was done in the garage, especially when I started dealing with open fluid. I don't want that anywhere inside my studio space. So that was done in the garage. It's a lot of work. okay? Is it worth it? Like I said, I think so. Is the price point on point? The price point is perfect. It is awesome. About $300. I'm not exactly sure. You know, it all depends like when you get it, because you know, it just depends. But, you know, we don't know where tariffs are at. We don't know what shipping are always up and down and everything. So that's a very fluid price. So approximately $300. So let's kind of throw that out there. If it comes in at $310 or $320, you'll know that maybe there's more shipping on it or something like that. I don't set the price because I don't sell the kit. Fat Tire Health sells the kit and they set the price. And if you're watching this 5 years from now and it's $400, then it's $400. I'm sorry, you should have bought it 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whenever this was made. So anyway, I like the kit. So far, it's good for me. It answered all the criteria I had. I wanted a neck snapper, something if you grabbed the front brake too hard, like the old brakes, that would throw you on the concrete. This kit will do that. All right. So if you want to do it, if you want to throw your bike over the front, throw your butt over the front handlebars, that this kit can do it. I've just, knowing through breaking it in, I don't think it's excessive and it's not excessively snappy. But who knows, over time, after I keep breaking it in, maybe I'll get it dialed in there and it is a real super neck snapper. But I'm very happy with what it is now. Your one finger pull, I usually ride with two fingers and I go real slow anyway. So it's not that big a deal. I've had really touchy motorcycle brakes that were way more than this. And, but these are great. So much better of improvement, more than stock. And I would put these over anything that Magura has out there. You could go Magura Gustavo, or Gustavs, I think they're called. That's $1,000, and you only get a 2.5 millimeter rotor. You get a 220, but it's 2.5. But at the end of that day, that's a mineral-based oil system. Dot's what you want. Mineral-based, because once you cook that mineral base, flush it, or you're going to have nothing but problems. That's my 2 cents on that. So $300 is better than $1,000 Gustav Magura top of the line cargo bike, big time brake. And it's great. I'm not putting them down. It's just, that's what it is. And you know what? Their calipers might be a little thinner and the install might be a little better for somebody. And maybe that works for them, but not for me. I don't think the price point, $3,700 bike, $1,000 brake kit, I'm not really on board with. $3,700 dock, $300 brake kit. Wait a minute. And now we have stopping power that matches the acceleration of this bike. I don't know what Wired's going to do going forward on this. I'm not in research and development for them. I don't know what they're going to do. I will see that Steven sees this and he sees this whole episode and see what he thinks. And everybody knows this is just off the cuff. This is really a no edit video. It's going to be very minimal edit videos to this because I wanted to bring you this information fast because a couple people have started to order kits. And I just want you to know what you're in for if you do order this kit. It's no walk in the park and it's going to take some skill set on your side. And you might have to order a washer or two or a longer screw or something like that. So, but Ibrahim down there at Fat Tire House has done this to multiple bikes that he has, and his bikes are faster than ours. I mean, he's 70 plus, and his bikes get there like that, like right now. Ours build up to that, his get there like right now. And these are the brakes that he uses on those bikes. They're heavier than these bikes, and they got stronger motors. I think one of his motors is, Ibrahim, you're 25,000 watt, something like that on some of those bikes, and this kit's working? I'm not sure if that's it. That's what I believe we were talking about, but get back to this bike. Let's just wrap this thing completely up. I'm stoked. I just need the weather gods to, bless me with some sunshine, or just not rain and no toxic acid fog that we've dealt with in California for the first time in my lifetime. So, especially for this long on end. I mean, since Thanksgiving, guys, I am not even joking. And now we got rain. So hopefully when we get into the new year, we can get out there and start, bombing the hill some. And we got a drone coming to the channel. So, I'm really stoked about that. So we should have some better view angles and stuff. Like I said, each time we're going to up our game. We're a small channel. We never built this channel to be an influencer. I just built this to do this kind of stuff, like upgrades and mods and stuff like that. And I've only been wired, I had the other company contact me to give me a bike to review. I turned them down. When I turned them down, they offered me cash to do it. I turned down the cash. So I did a lot to do this for you because I really feel like staying wired. And as long as Wired wants me to work with them, then I'm wired through and through, and this is a wired channel. That's what I see going forward. If they don't see it going that way, let me know. So I would like to represent them in some capacity in the future, and I'd like to work with Wired. Means let me get that completely straight with everybody online right now. I want to work with Wired because I have worked with them on several little things with them, just like everybody that's an influencer out there works with Wired. Anytime that Wired sends you a controller and works with you and has you try something out and get back to them, you are working with Wired. I'm going to do that in the same capacity. When you work for somebody, that's when they start paying for your retirement and your health care benefits and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that at all. That's not me. But if I can help with, if they like my kit and they like, hey, that's pretty good, maybe we can do something like that on one of our future bikes. That would be fantastic. And if they don't, they like, it's too motorcycle-y for us, that's fine. This works. But at least we're doing something. There could be an issue in unlimited mode, and hopefully this will address it for those unlimited riders out there. So a special shout out goes to Ibrahim for making this kit and making it available. Even if it's not a direct plug and play kit, it's the best option that I've found so far, and I think his kit absolutely rocks. It's worth the time to put it in my opinion. It's worth the time to source maybe a few spacers and a few longer screws and swapping some brackets around to make sure it fits. Just making sure your linkage is okay and you got your clearances, and I think you'll like it. But it's a lot of work, so maybe go a different route. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay wired.